Oh my stars, Cole Caulfield ties it.
He's in. He's gone. Oh my, Belmanov.
What's up, Curfew Boys fans, and welcome to another post-game show of the Curfew Boys. Tonight, your host, Anxious Anthony, here with GQ Chris in the house. What's up, GQ Chris? How you doing?
Hey, no. Would be better, except for that game, but or sorry, I am better except for the game. I'm doing well except for that game, but listen, man,
We're such emotional fans. Before we get things started, I would like to just say a little thing special for today. So today we pause to honor to all those who have served, the brave men and women who've worn the uniforms to protect our freedoms here in Canada, the United States, and all around the world. On this Remembrance Day and Veterans Day, we say thank you. Your courage, sacrifice, and dedication will never be forgotten, lest we forget. Lest we forget. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an episode of the Curfew Boys. If you like what you hear, all our content could be found on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. If you want to see our beautiful faces here, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. It is free. Tell your friends. If you want to hear any of our podcasts on the radio, on the drive home, to school, to work, on the bus, wherever you want, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, and any podcast platform you guys like to listen to. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight's episode. We got Mike's Barbecue Rubs. He's a Canadian company based out of Montreal, Quebec that sells barbecue rubs, sauces, and kettle cooked chips. All their products are proudly made and packaged here in Canada. They can be used on all types of meat, vegetables, and even fish. All their chips are kettle cooked here in Canada, and they're the only company in Canada who is using their own barbecue rub as their seasoning for their chips. Follow them on their social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. All their products are available to purchase on their website at www.mikesbarbecuerub.com, and they also ship all across Canada. And always never forget, they're saying, always don't forget to rub your meat. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Le Délicieux Lafrenière. Some of the best pastries here in Montreal, cakes, cannolis, and of course, our favorite, especially the month of March, Zeppelis. They have 6 locations, including Rosemere, Brossard, Saint Jolie, Montreal West, Pointe Claire, and of course, our hometown here in Saint Leonard. Visit ledelicieuxlafreniere.com. They are simply delicious. And of course, our sponsor, Sunil, Habs Cave, a man's cave dream for all Habs fans around the world. Follow Habs Cave on Instagram for their best memorabilia content. Also, he's just a great man to know. He supports the community. He's a big Habs fan. Every man's dream, every Habs fan dream to have a basement like his. He has pretty much every memorabilia you can think of. He even has toilet paper in his washroom for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins to wipe your ass with it. I had to say that. Sunil, give him a follow at Habs Cave. Chris, I don't know. We're such emotional, bipolar fucking fans. You gotta love it though. You gotta love it. The passion we have in this city. We're having such a great start of the season. And a loss just brings us down.
Yeah.
But you know what? A loss like tonight, a little bit disappointing. Now we can pinpoint. I mean, where do you want to start? Chris, do you want to start off with the question, who's our number one goalie? Are we at that stage yet? Because we've been saying it every episode. Are we there to have that debate? Dobej versus Montembeault. And it's like we're still saying it's too early, but now we're what?
We're
12,
16
13
games in
16
officially.
games in, and we're still seeing the same pattern from Monty. Not consistent, not playing his 100%. Is it the media that's getting to him? Is it I don't know. Talk to me, Chris. Is it time to have this debate?
So for the 2 questions, I wish I could answer what it is. If you knew, I'd be all ears because this doesn't look like the same guy from last year whatsoever. And in terms of the second question, which is it time to start questioning who our number one goaltender is? Uh, I think I think there is. I've there's a certain sentiment, and this is a sentiment. This is not a fact, but it seems as though they were doing everything possible to protect Sam Montembeault and his mental health and well-being, and at the same time, I think the Canadians owe it to Jakub Dobeš. The guy broke down at the end of last game when he was in the post-game scrum, and I'm pretty sure he'll get the start on Thursday. But I mean, if Jakub Dobeš wins against what I would consider to be a better team in Dallas rather than LA, I we want to win. It's time to win. It's time to secure as many points as possible. You see, the Maple Leafs are floundering. The Boston Bruins suddenly are starting to win games. So if you're going to start asking me whether or not it's time to look out and question whether or not perhaps it's Jakub Dobeš who should be our starting goaltender or at least start playing a lot more games, the answer is a resounding yes. I'm I'm sorry to say, but Monty's struggling to allow less than 4 goals per game. Sure, he has moments where he's dialed in, but even if you take last game, like again, Jake Evans, had he not fished the puck off from the goal line, that's 3 goals. He is absolutely positively struggling, and until he gets back into form and actually proves it, I don't care what he did in the past. We're not living in the past. We have to look
And
forward to the
until
future, and
he
Dobish
gets
is the guy who is looking to secure more wins at this point in time for what's to come in the future.
Yeah, couldn't say it any better, Chris. I mean, you're right. We're not. Look, I was a big fan of Monty last season. If you remember everything I said in the episodes, um, the thing that he's missing is consistency. Once he's in that consistent level and plays at that high performance that we've all seen and witnessed, he's unstoppable. He's a wall. I mean, he's not Carey Price, but again, we got spoiled to have a Carey Price in our roster. So I think we're biased when we have these complaints and this back and forth dilemma with goaltending because of that. And I think we need to let go, Chris. I think we have to get to a point where we need to forget
Uh,
about Carey Price.
Never.
I mean, no, you know what I mean. Like we're never gonna forget
Yeah.
about Carey, but that era of having that number one best goalie in the world protecting us and you know what it is too, Chris. We've been spoiled of having a horrible team in front of us, but still winning games because that goalie Carey Price kept the team on his shoulders, which is not a right thing, right? But even with a horrible team in front of us, we were still getting points, winning games, going to the playoffs because of Carey. Now we're in a position where we have a great team in front of us and we don't have that security in the back. And again, we're never going to find that Carey. Maybe with Fowler, I don't know. But we need to start forgetting about Carey a little bit and focusing on what we have. And I think Monty could be that guy. But there's something with him right now. I don't know what it is. Is it mental? Is it the media? Is he just I don't know. Is it because of the whole Dobesh thing? Because Dobesh came out strong this season, the fans love him, and now it's like again. I don't know. I just don't know what to say, Chris. But you're right. We need to play the hot hand. You know, forget about Monty being your number one goalie, St. Louis. But let's start focusing on who's hot right now. If you're on that streak, unless it's a back-to-back game, keep playing that hot hand. Keep playing that hot hand. Now, yeah, Monty won last game, yes, but he wasn't the hot goalie, right? So, do I fully blame Monty for tonight? No, I don't. No, I don't. The lack of
Yeah, that's fair.
discipline,
That's fair.
I don't want to always blame Monty. There's certain games this season that we could point all fingers at Monty, 100%. But tonight, can I say it's him fully? No. Could he have saved some of these goals? Yes. But the lack of discipline, let's start with that point. Let's move on to that lack of discipline. We've been in the penalty box many times this game. Should we have gotten a lot of power plays as well? 100%. Don't know what the fuck was wrong with the refs tonight. There was a lot of missed calls on our side. Am I
There
being
were
biased because I'm a
also the
Habs fan? But it was on. The refs are just missing a lot of calls. But let's put that aside for a second because I'm not one of those fans. Okay, the refs made us lose. It's not true. It's not their fault fully, but the lack of discipline, lack of fucking discipline. Today was one of those games where we couldn't stay out of the box. We couldn't stay out of the box.
we couldn't stay out of the box, but I do wanna persist on one matter. The first two penalties, both taken by Kirby Dach. The first one looked like just a clean hit, try to separate the man from the puck along the boards, and somehow they called it a tripping call. And the second one, Kirby Dach's stick went close to Quinton Byfield's face, but it was actually the puck that hit him, and that drew the penalty. And so those were two ghost calls, if you ask me. And again, like let's not go into completely blaming the refs, but I mean, it was like two unlucky or undeserving calls that got played in the favor of Los Angeles, and then from there, it just it went downhill. Um, you said a word about the fan base. We are definitely a very passionate fan base, arguably the most passionate fan base there is for hockey worldwide. I don't even think it's a perhaps. I think it's just a factual matter. But on that note, one of the reasons why the Canadians have been so dominant this year to date is they've played very passionate, very heartfelt hockey, and this was one of those games where I don't know about you, and I'd love to get your take on it, but I felt as though there was zero passion, a huge
Okay,
lack of execution. Uh, you want to dig into that a little bit? Go for
I
it, man.
can't say lack of a 0% passion tonight. I think there was a lot of good moments we had, especially shorthanded. First off, I just want to point out a comment from can we say he's a fan? Can we say he's our boy? Fireman Sam watching us live because he has no power because of any Montrealer listening to this episode. Welcome to, or any visitors out there, welcome to Montreal. We got our first snowfall. Kind of hit us badly. 5, 10 centimeters, whatever you want to call it. We were not prepared for this. It's fucking November 11th. I don't remember the last time we got snow this early on, but hey, c'est Montréaliste. But yeah, Sammy could not make tonight's episode. He lost power, doesn't know when he's getting it back. So he's supporting us by watching it. But anyways, he made a comment. They needed to score on that 5-on-3 power play. Yes, we needed to score on that 5-on-3. So back to your statement about lack of passion. That we
And
have
execution.
an execution. Do we have what we've been seeing the last 15 games? No. Can I say we had 0% tonight? I can't say that because, I mean, if it wasn't for Kemper being a hot goalie tonight, we had a lot of fucking opportunities. That 5-on-3, yes, Sammy, we needed to score 100%. But it's not like that 5-on-3, we had no opportunities. We were in the zone the whole time. We've taken many shots on that 5-on-3. We just couldn't finish. The shorthanded in the second period, was it the second period? Yes. The two back-to-back shorthanded with LA in the second period. It was a power play for us. We were, Anson almost scored, Suzuki almost scored. We had a lot of opportunities on the shorthanded too. We just couldn't finish. Now, can I say lack of passion tonight? No. Can I say fully lack of execution? It wasn't all there, all game, but there was a lot of good moments, a lot of opportunities. We just didn't have the momentum on our side because we couldn't finish. If we would have finished any of those moments, like Sammy said, that 5-on-3, if we would have scored a goal, momentum would have been on our side. If Suzuki would have scored on that shorthanded goal opportunity, momentum would have been on our side. It was 3-1. Suzuki almost scored. That would have been 3-2. Momentum would have shifted on our end. And with the fan base that we have, the barn that we live in, that they play in, the comeback stories that we have this season, we scored that shorthanded. This game is going to overtime, hands down. So I think we just lacked the finishing tonight, which did not give us that momentum. But we had a lot of good moments. I don't think we played all around bad game. It's not like old Habs last year, those games where you just couldn't see anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I guess if we want to compare it to the last 15 games, Chris, yes, there was lack of that 100% 3 period, 60-minute passion that was lacking. I just think the issue tonight was we couldn't finish. And I guarantee you finish one of those key moments, Chris, the momentum would have shifted on our end.
I think there's one guy in particular, and it's not our thing to just pile on guys, but you know, Dobson shorthanded. What Sammy's mentioning, absolutely for sure. But yeah, I'll even tackle the Monty freebie to Fiala. That's an easy cover up. Freeze the puck. He passed directly to Fiala for a one-time little pop, and like that is going to be one of the easiest goals that Kevin Fiala is going to score on a goalie in his career. There were just stupid mistakes here and there, and again, I'm not here to pile up on guys, especially younger guys on the team. But Uri Slavkovsky, yeah, sure, he had a few great puck battles along the boards and did a few good things, but on the power play, he had some pretty bad turnovers on a few rushes. He had a few really lazy passes. Even I'll go as far as saying this: even Lane Hudson made a pass from the defensive zone in the third period, and it went straight onto the stick of the LA player, and it's uncharacteristic
Well,
of, especially of a guy like Hudson. So that's why I say, like, I don't want to see a lack of passion, because it wasn't just like a careless, but there were a lot of stupid mistakes. There were a lot of what I'd like to say careless or sloppy passes that we know these guys make day in, day out, game in, game out, shift in and
well,
shift out. And it was just like watching them and going like, okay, you guys just didn't show up to your full potential today, and this is going to be a rough game. And yeah, there were mental errors. We all know that in any sport there are energy shifts and momentum swings, and those play a part in the game. But let's also talk about the fact that there were 3 goals that went in 6 minutes time. You don't think like that for sure just completely deflated the guys, and again, that's where especially the goal that Sammy just mentioned in the comments, that freebie goal is an absolute dagger. That's the 3rd goal. That is the differentiating factor, the turning point of the game. Call it what you will, but we have to be better than that. And then again, foot off the gas for the rest of the game. Moments. You said it so well. There were moments. There were good moments, but
well,
hey,
moments that
you run into a hot goaltender, you're done.
and Camper was very hot tonight. And uh, look, you mentioned uncharacteristic moments such as Lane Hudson. Now, is it possible? Is it fucking possible? Every time we get rid of a player or trade a player, we come in back to our barn. They're just performing players. Edmondson has not scored a goal all season, and he scores his first goal tonight. Armia comes to the building. We give him a little standing ovation, and he goes and score that goal. Uncharacteristic moment for Lane Hudson. How the hell did Lane Hudson let that go? It's unlike Hudson to do that. He has the quickest hands in the league. He knows how to disappear with that puck and use his magic. Armia just found a way to outskate him, take the puck off him, get a breakaway. You said it, uncharacteristic moment for certain players. That was a number one uncharacteristic moment for Lane Hudson. You know, Sammy said this: youngest team in the league versus one of the oldest teams in the league. Veterans knew how to shut it down, of course. But you know what? We have an issue with LA. Look at we have a really bad record with LA. The last time we beat LA was November 9th, 2019. That is our last win against the LA Kings. Thank God we played them twice this season. I think we played them one more time this season, but fuck, 2019. That's 6 years ago. That's the last time we beat the LA Kings. They are a good team, but Sammy said it: veterans versus a young team.
This is a recurring theme
Imagine.
because we said the same thing against Nashville. Nashville was Sammy
We're
really wants to
gonna
be a part of this episode. The
and
poor guy
Corey,
has no power, nothing to do. He's just
Sammy, why don't you
raging
just
through the
log in on your
comments over
phone?
here.
Sam, log in on your phone. Who cares about the quality of your sound? Just come on.
But no,
Continue,
but
Chris.
seriously, it's Nashville, it's LA. Why am I not remembering the other? Let me just pull out the Canadian schedule. I know Nashville. We talked about the same thing. Nashville slowing down the game,
Yeah, but
and
we
we
ended up
were
finding a way
playing.
to finish it there. But yeah,
We
Nashville was
fi- we f- That's exactly it. But I think it was also too against the Rangers.
mhm.
Against the Rangers, they slowed us down. They slowed the game down. We lost that game on October 18th. We lost that game 4-3. And seriously, again, just a case of a veteran team slowing us down. So playing against veterans is going to be something that has to be addressed. And I hate to say it, but especially the younger guys looked a little bit. Yeah, I don't like saying this because, like, a lot of them are gonna grow to be quite big, strong, and it's a very rare that you'll see a guy like Caulfield get completely shut out, but they look small today. Like, LA is a big beefy team, and they really look small today, and that sucks. They're gonna have to find a way to push through that because the playoffs are not gonna be a pretty sight. I think they're far better. I think they're far stronger. But, I mean, this was kind of a game where I don't wanna say you don't play t you play not to get injured, but oof, again, reoccurring theme, veteran team, bigger bodies, stronger men, not playing to our
So
style, doesn't
okay,
really go our way.
so the whole veteran thing, 100%, I agree with that statement. But that in time is gonna come. Like, we're a young team growing, right? We're not a team that's gonna win the Stanley Cup this year. Let's just truth be told. Let's just speak
What are you
factual
talking
here.
about?
I mean, I hope we can surprise the world, but I mean, I'm being realistic here. Yes, Joy, I'm a realistic guy sometimes. Fuck, I miss Joy. I'm a realistic guy. We're not winning, but that's gonna come in time, Chris. The playing against veteran players is gonna come. We have a young team who are already into or their second, third year with us, and they're gonna become slowly the new veterans where we can match up with these other teams. Okay, but something that we can fix now, and I think management knows this already based on last season round one against the Capitals. And we've spoken about this last season at the end of our season episode. And we said this during the off season, and we mentioned this at the beginning of this season. We have great talent. We mentioned last episode that we have elite talent. We are not lacking size. Okay. We are lacking size to beat teams like the Kings, like Nashville. Came close. We won it, but they were very strong. They were shutting us down. The time is going to come where we're going to be playing the Flyers and teams like the Bruins Saturday night.
Yeah.
We need to match up these players, and that's where management comes in and needs to start beefing up this team. Now, how do we do that? Because we have a lot of young, good talent. We have the speed, we have the skill. Back to what we've said many times in the past, we need players like Anderson to stand out. We need Jacky to start changing his game and
He
being
had
the
a
guy
good
that
game.
he did,
The
but it's
past
not
2 games
enough.
have been his best 2 games of the season,
Yes, but it's
arguably.
not enough, right? You need Slavkovsky. Guys, how many times have we said that Slav needs to be that physical player because he has the size and he's capable? And what we've said it many times, and I'm going to keep repeating myself until he fucking listens to our episodes, Slav. I want Slav to listen to us and listen to himself. He had an interview last season when he said, I don't know his accent, but I'll just be stupid here. I like being bad. When I play bad, I'm good. Like being a bad boy, being bad boy on the ice. Fuck, what kind of accent was that? But but you remember that statement that he mentioned when he said, "I
Yeah.
like being a bad boy, and when I'm a bad boy, I play good. Like I play well." Fuck, like when he's physical on the ice, he scores goals. He performs at a high level. He's not consistent at that side. So back to my comment before, we're lacking size, and I think management knows that. But if you want to play with what we have with us right now in the lineup, you need Anderson to step up. You need Jack Eye to step up. You need Slav to step up in the physical side of his game. And then that will change a little bit the momentum of the game. It will shift to having players like that match up to the Kings, to the Bruins, to the Flyers. Um, Sammy just wrote, Habs are starting to miss Caden Gooley in the back end. 100%. 100%. I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a strange thing because I find for quite a while, Jaden Struble was playing very good hockey. Like if it would be between him and Jack I thought Struble would deserve his spot on the team. I know it's only been about 2, 3 games maybe, but Struble has progressively been getting worse, if you will, and that's right at the moment where, again, I think we start really missing Caden Gooley because I think what Struble did was he was not dominating, but he was giving a very first good pass, getting the puck out of the zone, exactly what like Caden Gooley does that and more. But that was one of the things that kind of covered up the fact that Caden Gooley was gone, and like suddenly Jaden Struble with his struggles is making I think making it a little bit more obvious that Caden Gooley is gone. Uh, I I don't know, man. I will say you mentioned a team, and we're going to be facing them this Saturday, the Boston Bruins. I don't know if you got the chance to see around the league or see any of the highlights, but Nikita Zadorov has been taking a liking to beating the absolute crap out of Maple Leafs players. He actually took Austin Matthews out of the game tonight with a big hit. Uh, I don't know. He is that style of player, and he's always been a guy to make big hits. But especially after what I've seen for the past 2 games from Zadorov, I hope to God that the Canadians are ready. Jack Eye absolutely has to be playing on Saturday. He will, but that is a man that, for the love of God, Demidov, Hudson, and Suzuki, Caulfield, you name it, like be weary and be ready for a rough one on Saturday.
I mean, that's the game where, you know, the true character of this team comes out, right? Can we face these types of teams? And I think we can, like I said, from what I mentioned before, if these key players that I mentioned that have a good physical side of their game stand out a little bit more, we can shift that. Speaking of Struble, I mean, I'll throw in some of the questions we got on Instagram tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, every post game show we on Instagram ask you guys to share your questions on our Instagram page, and gives us a chance to mention you guys on our episode. We love and support, and we love the support that you provide us every single day. To all our Curfew Boys fans, thank you so much for all your love and support, and we want to give back. We want you part of our episode. So, these 49 people right now listening live, thank you so much for being on. And also, we have a lot of questions. So, let me start with one here, and I'll say the name. So, if you're listening, thank you. We have Mateo _ Di Loretto. So back to the Struble. He writes, I thought Struble would be sixth D man when Gooley returns, but I don't know anymore. He's been horrible. Now, you said it, Chris. I think you summarized that statement in what you said. I personally liked Struble's play before the last 3 games. I think it's the last 3 games where we started noticing that he's going downhill a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's now we're seeing the missing goalie on our lineup, right? But I think Struble at the beginning was showing somewhat of like that replacement, that he couldn't replace Goalie for a little bit short term and be that guy for us. And he was. I had this argument when I was at the Ottawa game with a friend of mine. We were watching the game, and he said, "Fuck, I'm not crazy about Goalie, Struble." And I said, "No, actually, he's actually playing very well." And then the last 3 games, he's just been not nowhere to be found, but mistakes. I mean, I was at the Devils game in Jersey. By the way, guys, I want to say something off topic because I was wanting to say this because I haven't been on an episode since that game, but Habs fans, be proud of the passion of this city. Be proud of the Bell Center. Be proud of that barn we fucking have. There is no barn in NHL history that has that passion and feeling like us. I mean, it was a good game. Montreal Jersey was a back and forth game. There was intensity. It was a fun game to be at. Went to overtime. The only time the fans got excited, only time. Not once have I heard "Go Devils, go!" It was me and many Habs fans screaming "Go Habs, go!" It was me and many Habs fans screaming "Ole, ole, ole!" But Devils fans, it was silence until they scored. You only heard them when they scored a goal. You only heard them when they won the game. It was just a quiet environment. I went to Florida to watch a game last season. Again, same thing. Quiet until they score goals. Here in Montreal, guys, we're loud from the start. We are loud during intermissions. We are loud when we're losing. It just, guys, Habs fans out there, non-Habs fans, fans around the world, come to the Bell Center at least once in your life to experience the loudness, the passion, the craziness of our stadium. That's all I have to say. Sorry. Back to Struble. Yeah, I like that comment. He's right. You said it. You summarized it. Struble needs to step up his game. Simple as that. He needs to get back to what he was because he has the capability of being that player.
Do we have other questions
Yeah.
coming in from the fans?
So the questions that we have tonight are pretty much everything we established. Actually, two new questions just came in, so thank you. I'll mention. So one of them from Gordon Habs. He's a follower on every episode. I see this guy's name everywhere. So thank you for your love and support, Gordon Habs. How did you feel about Monty's game tonight? We spoke about it at the beginning. I'll say it again. He just cannot let stupid goals go in. That shifts momentum. And he's right now not our number one goalie. So,
yeah. I'm gonna say it like this. It's no longer time. It's not time to start protecting guys. And if you want to go down, look, if anybody for that matter wants to start having that debate about protecting the mental well-being, well then Jakub Doba should have already got the chance to get back into net. You know, if you're gonna do it for one, you should do it for the other. I want to see Jakub Doba.
I want to bring that up.
He has been giving us the absolute best shot. I can't say it enough. Personally, it frustrates me. It really does frustrate me because again, Monty is just not getting it done. How is this a debate? How is this even a debate at this point in time? And it's like there's nothing owed to Jakub Dobes, but we owe the world to Samuel Montembeault. We picked up Samuel Montembeault off of waivers. And for God's sake, let's call it as it is. Sam Montembeault, and it'll be a telltale sign. Even though he was with Team Canada as the third string goalie, I highly doubt that he's going to be back there with the way that he's playing. He's not even close to a 900 save percentage, and he's bordering a four goals against average per game. That's like we need to see Dobesh, and unless Dobesh can't get it done, then we can go back to Monty. But at this point in time, we have a goalie who's 6-0-1, who's riding the pine and not playing games. That just, I'm sorry to say, it frustrates me. Like general
it's
coaching.
not frustrating. It's not frustrating St. Louis. So there was a question asked in his press conference tonight. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. He mentioned in the press conference tonight there was a question to St. Louis. Are you worried about? Sorry. Your cat moved again.
I'm so sorry. I suddenly had you had a completely different view over here with him behind.
Tell your cat to
Sorry, go
stop
ahead. Go ahead.
disturbing this episode.
He's
It was asked if he was worried, and his response was, "I am not worried about him." Is it a political comment to
but
save his mental health? I don't know. I don't know.
Matt, can we let's can we have this conversation? Why is it that and again, there goes Romy. Thank you, Romy, for the adjustment. Apparently, he didn't like the camera positioning, but all this to say is, why is it that the whole city of Montreal knew that Lane Hudson last year had to be on unit 1 of the power play? How is it that the whole city of Montreal knew that Ivan Demidov had to get onto the first unit of the power play, and magically that changes overnight? The whole city knows that it's time for Jakub Dobeš to be playing, and yet Marty somehow doesn't know, and he's confident. I respect the fact you have to take care of guys. You have to make them earn their spot. But at this point in time, with a nearly 50-50 split, catastrophic numbers on one side with fantastic numbers on the other side. I was going to say parmi in French, amongst the league leaders. And this guy, no, he'll get time to play when he gets time to play. Those are not Marty's words, but that is the actions put into his actions put into words. I'm beside myself. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Marty St. Louis, but this is one of those like, what took you so long moments. And if it's just because you're protecting one guy, then are you coaching to win? And that's what offsets me. That's what really like has me scratching my head and going, okay, yeah, you're a brilliant coach in terms of emotional intelligence. I'll give you that, Marty. 8 days out of 7. But let me tell you this much: this is going to cost you points. You have teams, especially like Toronto, who are dead set to make the playoffs, who are absolutely fumbling the puck as it stands now, and we should be optimizing and absolutely taking advantage of what's going on. We're not, and why are we not? Because we have Sam Montembeault in nets. Godspeed, Sam Montembeault. I cannot wait. I have full confidence that you can get back to being the goalie that you were last year. But until you show it, I don't want to see you in nets as often.
I want to bring something up and tell me if you agree with this statement. Okay, so a few days ago, after that loss, and Dobej started crying in the dressing room. Sunil posted, our sponsor, Habscape, and a few others posted that clip of him crying and commenting, "Love the passion, bleu blanc rouge. We love this." And I'm one of those guys who I posted. I'm like, "Fuck, I love this passion." Okay, fucking, we're 9-1-1 at this point. You are 6-0-1 as a goaltender, and that's the emotion you show in that dressing room. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Now, I'm gonna say my point. I like the passion. I think goes to show that this guy wants to win, even though he didn't have he did not need to shed a tear for that loss. He played fantastic. It was an overtime loss on a stupid misread by Newhook, right? But let's put that aside. I like the passion, but I got a comment from someone. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know if I could mention his name. He's not on the Curfew Boys page. So I won't mention his name, but he commented this. And I get where he's coming from. I understand it. Let me just say it. So he writes, "I hope the managements work with him to deal with these emotions. It's slippery slope where this could become a more serious mental issue. I applaud his openness, but let's help him be able to still have the passion without adding burden on his shoulders. This wasn't game 7 of the finals." I kind of agree with that because, again, we're 9-1-1. You are 6-0-1 between the pipes, and you went to cry as if you lost game 7. I like the passion, but I get where he's coming from, this fan, saying that it's a bit scary for him to cry. If he's crying at 6-0-1 and 9-1-1, imagine loses game 7. He's gonna throw himself off a bridge. You know what I mean? Like, sorry if I said that out loud, but
No, look, I'm gonna go back. I hear what you're saying, and it is cause for concern in a certain
yeah,
aspect. I will go back to Marty's emotional intelligence that I'm quoting, or that I quoted earlier. He he basically he said something that I really liked, and it was a very good perspective. It's like, you know, basically, in other words, he's one of 700 guys. There's a reason as to why they get here, and why these guys are so dominant and mentally, like, again, fierce competitor. That is Jakub Dobeš, evidently, and much like pretty much the rest of the league. But I will say this much: Jakub Dobeš, that was uncharacteristic, or I don't want to say, I don't want to use that word again, but it's just, it was out of place. It was so out of place. And like you said, it's like game number 14 on the season. Everything is fine. The
no,
loss
it was
wasn't
game
even on
11 at that
you.
point.
Like,
It was
it was a
game.
dumb mistake. Yeah, it was a like you factor in all these things all together, and you start going, what the heck, man? Like, are you okay? And you start to ask whether or not. And again, like, I don't want to delve into this because I'm sure. Look, sometimes just emotions get the best of you in the moment, and that's that. But if it's something that he is going to bestow this brutal burden on himself, then yeah, I hope they're mindful. I really hope that they're mindful and that they're keeping track of him, and that he doesn't feel as though, you know, he or doesn't have any sort of complex that he's not good enough. That is something that the Montreal Canadiens as an organization, they're light years ahead of us in terms of
Like,
dealing with professional athletes.
but
But all that to say, I'm sure at this point in time they're going to be checking on him maybe a little bit more closely.
well, yeah. Now that I'm speaking about this topic out loud, I'm starting to see more of what this fan wrote than what I mentioned about the passion. And again, I'm not disputing the passion. I love it. I fucking love it to know that we have players like that who strongly feel for this team and wins or lose, right? But um, my what I want to say is this: there has to be some sort of concern now that I think about this, because if this game was 3-0 Devils, right? And it was just a really bad game, like a game like tonight, 5-2. And then he shows that kind of emotion, then yes, you know what? He blamed himself for the loss. He wasn't playing his 100%, all that stuff. Then okay, maybe you can say the tears, even though it's stupid at 9-1-1, fair. You're emotional. You're mad that you lost for this team, especially when on a hot streak, and you go play a stupid game like that. You're emotional, fine. But there was zero to blame for Dobej that game. That game was a back and forth. Both teams were playing very conservative, right? Because two top teams of the East, both teams high scoring games. They tried to play very conservative that game. And the game went to overtime. And that final goal was not his fault. It was a mistake from Newhook clearing the puck wrong or whatever he did. I forgot exactly the play. But
He
it was
raced up with the puck and went to 1 versus 2 and cornered himself and got stripped of the puck. And yeah,
but again, a breakaway in overtime on 3-on-3 is not something every goalie can save. You know what I mean? So for him to be that emotional on a loss like that when he has not 1 ounce of error all game, not one goal went in because of him, not one mistake did this guy do. Could have easily won this game if it was the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's overtime, 3-on-3. It's anybody's game at this point. You cannot be that emotional on a 9-1-1. But anyways, now that I speak out loud, maybe there is some sense of concern. Maybe not 100% yet, but whatever. What was I going to say? So yeah, back to the question, so we can slowly wrap this up. there was another comment tonight. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Sorry, I had it open and then I got distracted from. Yes, before I get to the next question, do you remember? I think it was the second period where Demidov was right in front of the net all by himself, and the puck went to
Yeah.
his stick, and he just turns around and shoots. I started yelling at the TV. I don't know why he did. Maybe he did that to catch the goalie off guard because us as fans seeing Demidov in front of the net getting that open puck with the hands
Geeked
that
the
this
shit
guy
out of me.
has, with the
Yeah.
hands that this guy has, it's a perfect goal. Turn around, slow it down, score that goal. And for him to shoot the puck that fast, I think he did it to catch him off guard because everybody knows he's going to try to deke. But again, why? Sammy, if you want to go back to what you said before, they needed to score on that 5-on-3. I also think that Damidov should have scored that goal because if that goal,
Yeah.
I don't know. That I was
Yeah, the
just
Bell Center
so
erupts. The energy is different in the building, and you never know
I
what
was
happens at that
so
point in time.
disappointed on Demidov doing that. But then again, that's uncharacteristic of a player like Demidov for doing that. You know. So, anyways, let's get back to the questions. We have, yeah. Let me ask you, Chris. The fan is Chris_Hawaii. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Hawaii. Oop. Get Villano out of the lineup, please. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I don't agree
I
with get
don't
Valeno out
either.
of the lineup. I will say, I will say, let's see his time reduced. I just like let's leave it at that. It was mentioned. It was mentioned at like in after the previous loss that it's criminal to see Joe Valeno playing more minutes than a guy like Ivan Demidov. And Marty St. Louis even addressed. He said, "Look, I make errors. Can I manage guys' ice time better?" And he outright tackled that. He preemptively tackled that criticism, likely coming from external noise. And all that to say is, I want you to go back to the Joel Edmondson goal. I know that's proper coaching, and he did the right thing, but the Demidov line was on the ice, defensive zone face-off, yanks those guys off, puts on Jake Evans' line, fully expecting to win that face-off, goes back, goes across, slap shot by or shot by Edmondson. Great shot, not much of a screen, if I would say. But
It was a minor
like I
screen
will
from
say
Trudeau,
sometimes
but whatever.
what I'm trying to get at and to answer this question about Valeno is sometimes I think it's a little bit over like you're yeah, you have training wheels on the players and you're being cautious. And I know that they want to win and they want to go forward, but they're going to have to start trusting their players to play in the final minutes. Like I'll go back to the Jersey game even. You were right there. I absolutely hate how we take our foot off the gas sometimes and we take Caulfield off. We'll play like Jake Evans with Slavkovsky and Suzuki. We'll basically stop seeing Demidov. We'll stop seeing Caulfield, and we'll stop seeing other highly offensive players playing in the final minutes of the game, all for defensively responsible guys. But guess what? The dynamic of the line shifts. They do not have any time in the offensive zone. And like there are certain moments where I want to say the best defense is a good offense. If the puck is in the offensive zone and they're still pushing, well, guess what? The puck is not in the defensive zone at risk of going into the net. And maybe like how many times and I'm saying it like this, like devil's advocate. I'm not a professional coach in the NHL, and Marty is after playing 1,000 games and being a clear Hall of Famer. Okay, so like let me just put that into context. This is Chris
It's
in a
your opinion,
sweatshirt,
Chris. Go for it.
not behind the bench of the Montreal Canadiens.
No
But how many
judgment.
times how many? Well, no.
Fuck you.
How
I'm
many
sorry.
times have we lost? How many times have we lost the lead? How many times has that cost us to play defensive hockey in the last minutes, try to hold on to a lead, and we've lost it? And funny enough, what did we do? What did we do last game? We kept our foot on the gas. We we went from it being a 3-2 game to a 6-2 game. All the offensive guys kept playing right until the end, and
Well,
just like I said, I'll go back to the whole thing is
I'll go back to Jersey.
The
Go
Joe
back to Jersey.
Velenos. Well, go back to Jersey. Let's go back to the base of the question. I think Joe Veleno definitely has a spot on the team,
I think
but
so too.
he is not to be overused. And he is, I think some of these veteran players are impeding the rookies from making mistakes. But I would say go a step further. I think that these rookies have way more to offer offensively. And it's not time to take your foot off the gas. If you're talking about the final minute or two in a game, and you know that they're throwing everything on the ice at that very moment in time, that's another story. I don't mind seeing the defensive guys blocking shots. I don't want to see Demidov blocking shots and getting injured. That's fine. But I do not want to see
I,
the Joe Velenos of this team
but
getting too much ice time when they don't.
I couldn't
Sorry,
agree
sorry,
more.
Anthony. That was a
No,
major ramble.
look, go for it. The floor is yours, Chris. But I couldn't agree more with that statement. I mean, I think he did it again. So let's go back to Jersey because this is something we spoke about in our group chat after that game. And again, we're not Hall of Famers, like you said. We're not. I mean, don't shoot us, right? To all our athletes if they're listening to us, but we're in overtime, 3-on-3 versus top of the East, right? And we are undefeated in overtime with the elite that we have on the bench. And that bad goal and that bad mistake from Newhook, if you remember, that line was Newhook, Evans, and I forgot who else. There was no Demidov. There was no Cole. There was no Lane. There was no Suzuki. There was no Slav. There was none of our top players in overtime with 3 minutes left. When you have
Demidov hopped back on. There was I just want to correct you on one small thing. Demidov was on the ice at the end of the day when the goal was scored. It was Matheson, Demidov,
but I think he
and
came
Newhook.
on late.
But Jake Evans, strangely enough, was on the ice for like 10, 15 seconds right before Demidov got back on.
I think he went on just for the face off. But again, you don't. You're playing against the top of the East team. This point is crucial here, right? You want to beat Jersey. You want to beat your division game. Like it's not a division, but you know what I mean. The Eastern Conference. It's a game that we need those 2 points. So to me, again, my opinion is that it was bad coaching. Now back to Veleno. I think you said it perfectly right. Don't overuse him. But does he not deserve being on the lineup? I don't agree with that. I like Veleno. Am I being biased because he's an RDP boy? No, but no, I'm just joking about that because fuck RDP. But anyways, yeah. Sorry, Sammy, don't kill me. Yeah, I like Veleno on the on in the lineup. One more. I have another question here on Instagram. So, fuck, I wish Joy was here for this question. And I kind of starting. Let me say this in a way where Joy doesn't call me tomorrow and say, Gallagher. I know it's still early into the season. He had a great season last season. I still love Gally. He's still my number one. I think Sammy and you and I have the same feelings for Gally. He's just the heart of the team. I'm not ready to throw in the towel for this guy. But so far, this early on in the season, he's not the Gallagher we see or the Gallagher we know. So the question of tonight, his name is, again, thank you to all our listeners and fans out there for all your questions and your love and support. Nikki JLE5. How much longer will we have to watch Gallagher go offside? I think he costed us 2
Mhm.
offsides tonight. I think 2, maybe more, but I know for sure 2. I know there was 2 for sure.
Nikki, I will go back into our Curfew Boys group chat because I noted that, and I sent it to you guys. I said, how many times is Gallagher going to go offside? And this is not just in today's game. Gallagher's getting caught offside a lot, a
Mhm.
lot. And again, let's pre-emphasize this. I'm tired of pre-emphasizing. Like, fans, we love our players. As soon as they put on that jersey, we're gonna back them. But Gallagher, to me, again, I was ripping into Montembeault. I'd love nothing more than to see Brendan Gallagher lift a cup here in Montreal. Like, I think he is the most deserving guy of that.
Yep.
But I have a hard time seeing him keep up with the play time and time again. Does he like, again, he goes into the corners, he fights his battles, he has some great plays, and he does make great plays. Every single one, even freaking Joel Veleno makes great plays here and there. But I just don't think Galley has the wheels anymore. At times he'll have these speed bursts and like, oh wow, Galley's skating very well tonight. But on the overall, I find it's very hard for him to keep up with play. I find, like, even with Doc and Budzuk, I find he slows them down. And it's not because he's a bad player. He's just no longer the player that he used to be. I'd see him more in that checking role. I see him more with Anderson and Evans. And unfortunately, like, I'm sorry to say, Evans, Anderson, like Anderson tonight, beautiful shot. What a goal. But like, Anderson at this point of his career is not going to be the guy who I'm expecting offense from. I'm also not expecting offense from Jake Evans. Whatever he gets is just a bonus. But like, what I would say to this fan Nicky is, yeah, he's constantly offside, or not constantly, but he's definitely on the whole team. He's the guy that has the most offsides by far. And when is it going to be that we completely diminish and stop expecting Galley to be the offensive player? We keep calling him for years. We'd say, you throw Galley onto the line and he gets everything going. He's not that spark anymore. He's
Okay,
an essential person in the locker room. He's a character that is going to be fucking missed when
all
he's
right.
gone. But he's no longer the spark.
But wait, hold on. Stop you right there. Okay, so again, I'm being very biased because I'm a big Galley fan. I would wear that number 11 day in and day out. This just maybe I'm fucking Mark Bergevin. Pay this guy after he. Maybe putting my emotions into this. Don't kill me, Joey. But look at the season Galley had last season. So just to the comment, Roberto, one of our top fans for the Curfew Boys. Thank you for all your love and support, Roberto. Galley getting old. Yes, 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 yes. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. I have to accept it. We all have to accept it. He's going to be an amazing presence in that dressing room if he stays with us in management or whatever.
Assistant coach immediately. Just go back to the bench, Galley. Be the man that you are.
Anything. I think he's a great mentor for this young team. Great presence in the dressing room. But am I ready to throw in the towel? I'm not sure yet.
Oh
And this is me
no.
speaking based on, look, we all said this last season where he's done. He's gassed out. He's injured prone. He's done. Time to retire. Time to buy out his contract. Time this, time that. We all said that last season, each and every one of us, except me and Sam. All right. But we all kind of somewhat said it was coming to an end last season. And look at the season he had last year. He surprised us all. We saw a glimpse of Gallagher's prime last season. Gallagher in his prime, not 100%, but you know what I mean. He wasn't. Okay, Chris, like what we saw him last season was not the Gallagher we expected him to be,
Yeah,
right?
he was light years of what we expected him to be last year.
So that being said, look at the stats so far now. We're 16 games in. Yes, he is slowing down, but he still has 7 assists.
Yeah.
He still
No,
has half the
he's got a
like,
spot on the team.
you know what I mean? Like
He's
he's still
definitely got
putting
this
up the
spot.
points and he's still helping us out. He's not scoring the goals. Am I noticing a bit of a slowdown on the ice? Yes, I am seeing it, but I'm not ready to throw in the towel just yet. I think he still has a
this is
bit of
where,
juice left. This much. I
but
think.
man, this Anthony is where the whole discussion of a second line center is going to be the game changer for the Montreal Canadiens, because if Galley is not on that line and Kirby Doc is pushed over to a wing position, and or Kirby Doc drops down to line number 3 and is centering Demidov, there's or well, Kappen is doing a good job. So I mean, wherever Kirby Doc ends up, and it's no knock on Kirby because he's been getting better and better. He's been having a more significant impact. But this is to go back to Gallion to answer this specific question. I think it's time to be honest with ourselves and say that Galley is more fit for a fourth line role where we don't expect anything from him, and let him take that defensive role. And like, I don't think Galley's your power play guy. I really don't think. I think
I
he's one of the
don't.
guys who makes some of, sorry to say, but he does not make the greatest passes on the power play. Sometimes, yeah, he'll go dig out the puck in the corner, but on the overall, I will say he leans more towards not contributing to the play versus
But do you notice that
significantly
he's more on the
contributing to.
outside? Are you noticing more and more that he's on the outside instead of in front of the net like he used to be? He's
That
not
well,
that
that's
grinder anymore.
Bolduc is in front of the net, but then again, Patrick Laine is injured. Fine, but like again, Kapanen, instantaneous change for me. Even like there are a number of other players that I would have rather than Galley. Like I see Galley being so much more of a penalty killer at this point. I'm not saying that he deserves to be on the PK, but I would put Galley on the PK way before I'd put him on the power play. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's time. It's time for us as a fan base to give Brendan Gallagher a damn rest like we gave to Josh Anderson. And look what that did for the guy. Redefine his role. He's going to be going more and more into a defensive style of hockey. Is that his bread and butter? No. Was that more fit for a guy like Josh Anderson and easier for him to make that kind of a shift? Yes. But I mean, Josh Anderson was equally a 20 plus goal scorer. He had a season of 30, just like Brendan Gallagher. So, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say? But yeah, it's again, much like that frustration that we're living with Joe Veleno, I think we're feeling that with Brendan Gallagher because we're putting him in a position where he has to keep up with a young Kirby Doc and a young Zachary Bolduc. He does not have the wheels to stick with the play. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
I look
Yeah.
look. I'll add a little anecdote.
Look.
I'm 30. Officially 33 years old. I played soccer this past year and this year and the year before with guys who were 19 and 20, and fuck, it was a reminder that I'm getting old. Like I used to be a very fast runner when I was
You're
young.
saying you're old.
These
What are you
guys
calling
are
me?
like,
Fuck.
well, grandpa.
Fuck you. All right. Fucking guy. Look, you're right. You couldn't say it any better, Chris. I mean, as a fan base, we need to put our emotions aside. It's time. It's time. The way we
Wheel of
accepted
time.
Carey Price, it is now to slowly say goodbye to Galley, but not yet. I still think he has a little bit of juice left. I'm
Yes.
not throwing in the towel yet. I don't think he's a waste of player on the ice. He is still putting up the points. He is still contributing to this team. Is he the same player that we saw last season? Not yet. Not yet. Maybe he'll turn things around in the second half of the season. We're not there yet, but we shall see. Galley contract final year is contract 2026, 2027. Well, next season.
One more year.
Maybe one more year. So anything can change from now till next season. Okay. One last thing before we close up, Chris. I just want to just throw it out there and then we'll cut it. Kirby Doc. I don't know about you, but I'm really liking his play in the last 3 games or even more, but just the last 3, he's been standing out. He played well with Jersey. He played well last game. And tonight, I think he was even though we had a horrible game tonight, he was a player that stood out the most. I believe Anderson stood out today. I know we Sam and I spoke about this in our group chat. Anderson was played a very good first period, but I think I know how I see, to me, how I establish who's playing a good game or not, especially on shitty games like this, is who stands out more, who I see more often on the ice. And I saw Anderson pretty much all game. I kept hearing the commenting on RDS, Anderson's name, but also Kirby Dach. I think he's not the Dach that we expect yet, but he's getting there. I think he's at the right path. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think he's getting to the path that we think he could be.
He's on the right track to the point of he might have the opportunity to really center that second line and have some more significant minutes. He's obviously putting up some points. He had a few lucky goals. The one that flew up in the air and ended up going in
was a nice goal.
Jersey. I mean, I do like what I'm seeing from Kirby Dach. The man has not had it easy for a little while now, and in that regard, yeah, Kirby's doing well. Seems like he's turning a corner, going forward. Let's leave it at that. Like Kirby Dach is going to be one of those important pieces if he continues to play like this. As for Roberto's comment that he just put Dobesh or Montembeault,
Hands down,
I
Dobesh.
will take it for granted that you probably didn't hear the beginning of this episode because it's I don't think it's a question that needs to be asked. It's a guarantee. It has to be Dobesh. If it is not Dobesh on Thursday, I don't know. I don't know.
What
I need to
worries
go
me,
buy
and then we'll
myself a
end
new
this.
mic
What
because it's going to
worries
go out the window.
what worries me though, guys, what worries me, and then we'll cut this. The only reason why I think Monty plays Thursday, only reason, and this is me based on the press conference of what St. Louis said. For that whole mental aspect, you put Dobesh on Thursday, you're sending a message. Now, it all depends on what management's vision is for the future of this team. Are you keeping Monty as your number one? Is Dobesh your number one? Who's your number one? If Monty gets a loss like tonight and you put Dobesh next game, then you're kind of sending out a little bit of a message. I'm kind of thinking Monty plays Thursday just to not demotivate Monty. I hope Dobesh plays. And I hope he wins and fucking plays against Boston. But again, I'm not a coach. I don't know. But to answer your question, Roberto, it's Dobesh hands down. If I was a coach, Chris, you done? We good?
We're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all our followers out there, all our listeners, thank you so much for your love and support. Everybody who tuned in on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. To all your questions on Instagram and on YouTube, again, thank you. We appreciate everything you do for us. We are here because of you fans. So thank you again, once again. If you love and listen to, wow, tired, Chris. I'm tired.
It's only 11 o'clock, right?
Well, you called me an old grandpa, so yes, it's past my fucking bedtime. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start that again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear and see, you can listen to us on any podcast platform such as Apple, Google, and any podcast platform you guys like to listen to. If you want to see our beautiful faces, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to see more content from the Curfew Boys, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. We're there. Please give us an honest rating. We want to know what we're doing good, what we're doing bad. Only way to make us better and give you guys better content. Guys, what's coming up? We are home Thursday night against the Dallas Stars. We are home once again on Saturday against the Big Bad Bruins. I'm supposed to be at that game and I sold those tickets. And then, yeah, those are the next two games. We have Dallas on Thursday night at home, Boston on Saturday, and then we go back on the road against Columbus on Monday night. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, bye now.
Bye now.
Good night.
Stay